Hey, this is Hans from Dakota Angler and Outfitter in Rapid City, South Dakota, and today we're going to tie a soft hackled pheasant tail. Just a variation on the standard pheasant tail. You can use this fly as an emerger, just adds a little bit of movement to the traditional pheasant tail, gives it some nice qualities to fish on the swing, and just another versatile pattern to have in your box. We're going to start this fly by just crossing our thread up at the front till it overlaps and catches. Trim off the excess. We'll continue to the back of the hook, just right to the bend. Grab about 8 pheasant tail fibers. This is a size 12 hook. You want to use fewer fibers on a smaller hook. If you want to keep your flies more slender, remember to use fewer fibers. Sometimes some of these flies have a tendency to get a little too fat. I want my tail to be about 2/3 the length of the hook shank, so I'll measure that out. Switch hands. Tie that down with a couple of wraps of thread. And just fold that pheasant tail up a little bit. I'm going to tie in some ribbing material, copper wire. Tie it in so long that you have to trim off the wire at the front. You don't need to leave a tag. We'll tie that wire down as we go forward. I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way up the hook shank. Now we'll return to our pheasant tail fibers and wrap forward up to our thread. As they get a little shorter, you can put your left forefinger on the back of the hook and just stop them from rolling around the hook once you get a wrap on. And now, when I get to my waiting thread, I will hold the fibers forward with my right thumb and forefinger, throw a wrap or two over with my left hand, and then do a couple of additional wraps just to secure the fibers, and I trimmed off the excess. Now we'll go ahead and make 5 or so ribs, wrapping the opposite direction that we wrapped our pheasant tail so that the fibers are secured by that copper wire. Always want to counter wrap that copper wire. That prevents the pheasant tail fibers from unraveling if they get broken by a fish's teeth. Okay, now at this point we don't tie a wing case on this version of a pheasant tail. We're just going to go right to our thorax. You've got a couple of different options for a thorax here, and you could tie it traditionally with peacock herl, or you can add a little bit of a fun touch in the form of a little hot spot, and I think that's what we'll do on this particular pattern. We'll take some orange ice dubbing. We'll dub a small amount of that on our thread. You could use any color ice dubbing here. You could even replace the peacock herl with a peacock ice dubbing. But if you want just a little hot spot, something that catches the fish's attention, dub that in. Make a nice big ball of a thorax for our soft hackle to stand up to. Once you've made that ball, we'll bring your thread in front and we'll do our soft hackle. Now for the soft hackle on this particular fly, I'm going to use Brahma hen saddle from Whiting Farms. It's got a nice modeling just like a partridge does, but it's very easy to work with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear off the fluffy stuff. So all I've got is the nice webby quills. And once I have those stripped, you don't necessarily need to strip them, but it just kind of makes it a little easier to work with. I'm going to grab the tip of the feather and stroke it back so that all I have left is a little tip and the rest of the fibers are folded back. Then I'll trim that tip down. I don't need that large of a tie. This is what I'm going to tie in. Trim that down so I just have that little triangle there. We'll go ahead and tie that triangle down right in front of that thorax. Okay. And now we're ready to do our soft tackle, but we can kind of make one more preparation to make this look right. We'll hold the feather upright, and we'll just take some of those fibers with our thumb and forefinger, left thumb and forefinger, and fold them back. Oops, I pulled my feather loose. That does happen a fair amount when you're doing this, so be prepared for that to happen. I get reset here. Tie that back in. Lift it up. Maybe I won't use quite as much pressure there, but just fold it. See how those are angled back now? Now we can take and wrap. We don't need many wraps here. We only need a couple wraps. And what I like to do as I'm wrapping is fold the fibers back as we wrap as well. Kind of helps encourage that nice swept wet fly hackle look. Maybe wrapping that more turns than I need to there, but just finish wrapping those fibers. There we go. Now we'll tie off, fold everybody back, put a couple thread wraps in front. Trim off our stem. Now we've got that nice swept back wet fly hackle, and we'll finish the fly with 3-turn whip finish. Trim our thread off now. Now we'll take a little bit of head cement, put that on the head of the fly, protect that thread, and that's a soft tackle hot spot pheasant tail. But you could have just as easily done more of a traditional version by putting a peacock curl thorax in. I'm Hans Stephenson from Dakota Angler and Outfitter. We just finished tying the soft tackle pheasant tail. Thanks for watching. Check this video and other videos out at flyfishsd.com. You can also purchase the materials and everything that you'll need to tie these flies at flyfishsd.com. Thanks.